Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Ritu Singh and with me are Arundhati Ramanan and Shruti Mishra. Here are the headlines from the startup space.
I want us to be the co-pilot for India as it really takes advantage of AI, creates, in fact, its own AI products across all of these sectors and exports them to the world.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is bullish on India's tryst with artificial intelligence, expects businesses led by AI to make up 10% of the economy when India hits the $5 trillion mark, adds that AI is powering a shift from the era of information at your fingertips to an era of expertise at your fingertips. That's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive.
The government is likely to soften its stance on retrospective GST demands from real money online gaming companies. Sources say Centre sees merit in the argument that companies will be unable to meet the unrealistic demands. That's an exclusive.
Business services provider Quest Corp has agreed to divest its wholly owned subsidiary QDigi Services to device care provider OnSite Go for 80 crore rupees. Now, as part of the transaction, the entire team and business of QDigi will be transferred to OnSite Go.
Metafin, a cleantech-focused NBFC, has raised $5 million in equity funding led by Prime Venture Partners and Varanium Capital. Funds will be used for expansion, grow its loan book, enhance its technology and IoT stack.
Fintech firms Juspay and Decentro and SaaS company Zoho received the final authorization from RBI to operate as payment aggregators. On the other hand, Instamojo Payment, Paytm Payment Services Limited, Freecharge were among many players whose applications were returned.
Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening, but let's start with the CNBC-TV18 exclusive. The government is likely to soften its stance on retrospective GST demand notices for online gaming companies. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that the government saw merit in the argument that a company cannot pay unrealistic tax demands. Timsi Jepuria joins us now with the details. Timsi, what are your sources telling you?
Well, sources are indicating to us that the government is likely to soften its stand on the retrospective GST demand notices that were sent to online gaming companies. Government has realized, or there's a sort of a realization within the corridors of North Block, that the existential issue of gaming companies, that if they have to pay GST demands that were raised between July 17 till March 23, are they realistic or not? Also, what we are given to learn is that the government is likely to have sought a legal opinion on what could be a way out of the tussle with the online gaming companies that the government is facing currently. And it sees some merit in the argument of the companies that a company cannot pay an unrealistic demand which is as high as several thousand crore rupees. Remember, the matter related to GST demand on online gaming companies is being heard in Supreme Court. An SLP has been filed by the government against the Karnataka High Court order in the Gamescraft matter, and all the cases pertaining this particular issue from various state high courts have been now clubbed under this particular matter. And to be precise, what is the quantum which is at stake? Well, online real money gaming companies have received 71 show cause notices worth 1,12,332 crore rupees in FY23 and 24. And government had challenged this particular Karnataka High Court order, which was pertaining to the 21,000 crore rupees demand just in the case of Gamescraft alone, where Karnataka High Court had quashed this demand. So let's see what happens in the court, how the tussle between the government and the companies actually turn out to be, and what is the final outcome. But yes, as of now, some softening of stand is visible. Back to you.
Well, some relief coming in for the gaming companies there, Timsi. Thanks very much for bringing us that story. Now, in what's brewing today on Startup Street, Softbank-backed payment infrastructure startup Juspay has acquired, Softbank backed, we'll tell you, Lotus Pay, in an all-cash deal. And this acquisition, according to Juspay, will strengthen its offerings to the BFSI segment and merchants with a particular focus on enhancing its recurring payment capabilities. Now, Juspay has also, as we heard, secured the final authorization from the Reserve Bank of India to operate as a payment aggregator. So joining me now to discuss this deal and what it means for both the companies are Vimal Kumar, the founder and CEO of Juspay, and Atma Krishna, the founder and CEO of Lotus Pay. Vimal, Atma, thanks very much for your time here on CNBC-TV18. And Vimal, if I may start with you, tell us about the financial contours of this deal. It's an all-cash deal. You haven't given us the figure. And, why you went for this acquisition.
Yeah, to talk a bit about how Juspay solves payments in India, the payments infrastructure. Um, India is a market with the extreme amount of payments diversity. You a consumer, all of us can look at a payment page and see how many payment options are there in India and how seamless it has been put together and the customer experience is presented, right? And India is a market also which adopted second factor authentication uh, as a mandatory thing for all the payments. And Juspay has played a key role in unifying this diversity, just like how we say India has unity in diversity. So we are a unifier of this diversity in payments, which promotes a lot of innovation in the payment industry, and also simplifying and removing the friction. Um, so from here, what we have seen is for commerce, a lot of innovation has happened. But for the subscriptions and recurring payments, India is going to start operating in a big way in that area, and the market is going to open up. You can see eNACH is one of the big areas that LotusPay is great at, and that is one of the key reasons we got in there with LotusPay. And also, if you integrate that with UPI AutoPay and other options, and provide a single solutions for subscriptions, I think that's going to help the ecosystem a lot. That is going to support a lot of businesses to have subscriptions and recurring payments enabled in a seamless way.
Well, let's get Atma in then. Atma, why did you decide to sell this business that Vimal is gung-ho about? And tell us what happens to the management, to all of the employees at LotusPay. Do they get absorbed at Juspay?
Sure, yeah, thank you. So it's been an ongoing discussion over the last few months with the Juspay team, Vimal and Sheetal. And finally, we agreed to go ahead with it, pull the trigger. I've been working on this business for over 7 years now, and it's been a wonderful journey, participating in India's payments revolution, especially in digital payments. And, our team is very small. Our product is very focused on NACH. We work with a lot of banks, but the exciting thing is that Juspay has huge reach and huge credibility in the market. So by combining that with LotusPay's expertise in NACH and the specific offerings that we have, that will really create a unified solution, which is extremely effective and extremely attractive for the kind of clients that we serve, with a particular emphasis on banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, mutual funds, and so on. So I think, a combination of these two will go. And
Atma, will you and your team be joining Juspay?
That's right. So the team is joining, and we're going through a 3-month transition phase right now. Okay. And we'll work together to integrate LotusPay and ACH into Juspay's suite of products, Hyper SDK, and the checkout products. So it will really create a wonderful and seamless solution for Juspay clients and unify these offerings of UPI AutoPay, standing instructions on cards, and NACH debit, and also unify multiple APIs and solutions offered by different banks. So that will be an extremely attractive solution for our clients.
Atma, one more question before I go back to Vimal. Are there any overlapping clients between the two of you? Because you are in the same industry at the end of the day. And, what are you processing monthly? What sort of revenues are you generating currently?
So there's not much overlap. In fact, there's hardly any overlap. Okay. What we do versus what Juspay does, it's quite complementary. It's very complementary. And we do work with similar banks, but we do different things with those banks. So really, there's going to be a real meeting of minds in this, and it will be very complementary. We've been profitable for several years now. We're a super lean team, and everyone will be continuing with the team, and the volumes are quite incredible for a startup of our size. We process about 5 million mandates. We registered 5 million mandates. Got that. Year long. Okay,
Vimal, finally, before we let you go, the other big news that we've heard is, that payment aggregator final authorization from the RBI. That's big news for the company. It's also a kind of a pivot for you, right? From being a payment service provider to this full stack payment gateway. Tell us how life changes and what this means for business from here on.
We don't, in fact, look at it as a pivot. We are still the same payments infrastructure company who is unifying the diversity. In fact, to talk about the PA license and what we are going to do with it, it might need more time. So I would say, to keep it short, there are lots of use cases which are underserved, where we saw that we need the license to serve that to our customers and potential customers, and that's the reason for us to get the license. And it is very organic, evolutionary for us to extend what we are already doing. It's not a pivot.
Okay, not a pivot. On that note, Vimal, Atma, both of you, thanks very much for your time here. Congratulations on this merger. And we look forward to hearing more on what's ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, moving on, NBFC Namdev Finvest raised $15 million as part of its Series B funding round from a host of institutional investors, including British International Investment and LC Nuva AIF. Existing backer Incofin India Progress Fund also participated in the round. The Jaipur-based startup plans to use the fresh funds to expand its reach, strengthen product diversification and technology enhancement. Joining me now to discuss this further is Jitendra Tanwar, the MD and CEO of Namdev Finvest. Jitendra, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. Now, you essentially simplify access to financial solutions to the underserved businesses. So how are you democratizing access to credit for the underserved, and which are the segments that are currently doing well for you?
So thank you so much for, so we are serving in for tier 3 and cities above, right? So we do serve in like underserved and unserved for the customer side, for individual customers, like for the FMCG side, as well as to like for the dairy and the farming equipments as well, and as well as to like small barbecue shops and as well. So we do cater in tier 3 and tier 4 cities above, and also we are presenting in 8 states like MP, UP, Haryana, Punjab, Delhi as well. And then as of now, we have on 110 branches in all northwest of India.
All right. And so you've raised this $15 million, and you hope to enhance your product diversification, right? So talk to us about these plans. What's on the anvil? Some green financing also on the plans, right? On the cards there?
So as per our PM Modi stated, right? So we are focusing on the green product side. So as of now, 15% portfolio are in green product for the like sustainability, like for the electric vehicle, as well as to charging station, as well as like to for the solar loan, as well as. So, and rest 85% portfolio is the MSME is secured lending for the at 110 branches in Northwest state of India.
Right. And you claim to have disbursed over 50,000 loans ranging from about 4 lakhs to 7 lakh rupees. So how many loans do you hope to disperse this year? Can you give us a sense of what the targets are?
So March 24 will be around maybe around 60,000 number of total customers we have disbursed in this financial year. And also next year will be cross around maybe 1 lakh plus customers for the in line of the MSME and as well as to green segment. So our company mainly focus on for the MSME segment as well as to green products.
All right. And what about your revenues? Where do you hope to end this year? Also, where is your current AUM at, and what about NPAs?
So as of now, in total company, AUM is as on January is 1,060 crores, and NPA is less than 1%. In gross NPA is 0.83 and net NPA is 0.60. So in our segment, so we are focusing in like already I told you, like we are focusing on tier 3 city above, right? So we do loan on for the secured business loan lending for the small customer size in tier 3 city above.
Right. And you also plan to use the funds, like you said, to expand your reach. So as you mentioned, you have a strong presence in the Northwest region. So where are you looking to expand? Will it be within that area, or are you looking outside as well?
So like 80% penetration we have in Rajasthan and 20% penetration in other states like UP, MP, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana as well. So now upcoming we are going into more states like Uttarakhand as well as to Bihar, like in tier 3 city above. So our focus on tier 3 city above, like underserved and unserved customers, we are focusing now.
Right. And what about branch expansion? You obviously cater to tier 3 and beyond cities. So obviously a lot of your business is going to be offline. So how many branches do you hope to open this year? And what about your online presence?
So as of now, we are working on the feet and stick model, right? So our customer is basically is educated or uneducated, and they are like for the not habitual for the banking, for the habituals, right? So they are like using for the cash transaction as well as to like for the banking. It means, so I say to around maybe 40% is the cash and 60% the banking transactions.
All right. And can you give us a sense of the kind of products that are doing well for you at this point and that you want to double down on for this year?
Yeah, definitely. It's like for March 23, our portfolio company AUM is 623 crores. And as on December, we are sit on 160 crores. And March 24 will be reach around maybe 1,250 crores, and March 25 will be reach around maybe 2,500 crores AUM.
All right, Jitendra, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a short break. But before we go, we are excited to announce the CNBC-TV18 is back with the second season of India's largest campaign on gender parity. So join us for the mega launch of the HSBC Presents CNBC-TV18 Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective, with top leaders, influencers, policymakers and trailblazers all under one roof to chart a path towards bridging the gender gap. Live from Delhi on Saturday, 10th of February, 5 p.m. onwards, only here on CNBC-TV18.
Welcome back to Startup Street. On the hot seat today, we put the spotlight on an Indian-American entrepreneur, investor and philanthropist, Sunil Wadhwani. He's the co-founder of Mastech Inc. and iGate and is the chairman of 2070 Health and W Health Ventures. He also made it to the Time 100 AI list last year that highlights the 100 most influential people in AI. Sunil, welcome to Startup Street. First, tell us, how can we harness AI as a solution for the vast population of India, especially for those for whom technology is inaccessible, costly or unusable because of low literacy rates?
AI, of course, has been around for 50 or 60 years. But as many of us know, it's really over the last 10 or 12 years that it has started accelerating because of the increasing amount of computing power, the greater sophistication of algorithms, the vast amounts of data available, and the money going into AI. Anything that we could do otherwise, AI gives us more power to do it in a bigger, better, and faster way. So as an example, in India, in the form of healthcare, okay, India is, whether it's healthcare or education, to me, I think of India as being three countries. The top 5% of the population has access to the world's best healthcare and education right here in India. It's as good as anything you'll see in the US or UK or Europe, anywhere. The next 30, 40, 50% has access to pretty good healthcare, education, quality of life. Not as good as the top 5%, but it's fairly good. Then when you get into that bottom 40, 50, 60%, things become more challenging. The quality of healthcare, access to good quality healthcare starts decreasing. Access to good quality, affordable education starts decreasing. Livelihood opportunities get a little bit more challenging. So the issue becomes, as you said, how can we use AI to assist everyone in the country move ahead? So any arena that you look at, let's look at education. There's roughly 10 million teachers in India. There's roughly 250 or 260 million students. AI can help teachers become more effective in a variety of ways, from developing better learning plans to providing more personalized teaching. Similarly in healthcare, similarly in various other areas.
All right, let's now talk about health tech innovation in India and especially AI in health tech. Tell us, how do you see India positioned in the global ecosystem? Also, how do you envision the role of AI in fostering social good? And what initiatives or strategies do you believe are essential for leveraging AI technologies to create a positive impact, especially in the context of India?
India, net, I believe, is very well positioned, not just to play in the world, but in fact to be a global leader. We have a whole generation of really interesting startups coming online in healthcare and education, variety of other areas. Last year, over $2 billion went into AI-based healthcare startups in India. So all of these things bode extremely well, not just for the growth of the AI startup ecosystem in India, but also on the fact that many of the companies that are now emerging in India, still early stage, will be leaders on a global stage. And I can give you early stage examples of that whenever you like.
Sunil, you're also the founder and lead investor of W Health Ventures and 2070 Health, two entities that are focused on driving innovation and AI adoption in healthcare. First, take us through some of your healthcare solutions at W Health that are transforming the global healthcare landscape.
So in W Health, we basically invest in very early stage startups. We invest at the seed or the Series A stage. So we look for companies that have identified areas of unmet healthcare need. Could be in chronic care management, could be in mental health, could be in women's reproductive health, could be in diabetes management, etc. And we back companies in all of these areas. 2070 Health is separate. That's India's first venture studio. And through 2070 Health, we invest in creating our own companies in areas of unmet healthcare need. So between W Health Ventures and 2070 Health, in the last 2.5 years, we've invested in over 14 startups that we've either created or helped to launch.
So moving on to the VC community now, have you seen greater awareness in the VC community to change the healthcare system in India as we know it, especially after the pandemic? And also, if you could share your views on venture capital health tech funding, is it on a rise?
Yeah, short answer is funding is on the rise. In addition, I see much greater sophistication in the venture community in terms of the kinds of ideas that they look for, the ideas that they back, the sophistication of their thinking. But even more than the venture community, I'm even more impressed with the entrepreneurial community in India. The current generation of founders and entrepreneurs that I'm seeing in India really bring in this tremendous combination of understanding their markets extremely well, understanding how to develop disruptive ideas that are both unique and compelling in the market spaces that they address, and then finally building a team that can take this early stage company to success.